Hey there! So, I've created a series of 12 playlists, one for each of the zodiac signs in Western astrology. I've been using the project as a way of meditating on each sign as we pass through the seasons. The playlists are long, most between 6 to 8 hours, and I've curated them so you can listen to each one either in order for an intentional journey through the themes and contradictions of each sign, or on shuffle play for a fun and perhaps magical experience using the shuffle algorithm as a kind of oracle. Each zodiac playlist is filled with songs by artists who were born under the appropriate sun sign, and I still feel like I need to say that all of us are complex human beings who embody all the signs. Indeed, the zodiac can only be deeply understood as a whole, as a reflection of the human condition. So, the driving force for me in choosing the songs for these playlists was not the birthdays of the artists, although that factored in, but rather the core spirit, messages, vibes, and imagery of the songs in relation to the signs of the zodiac. In this way, I've done my best to honor the complexity of both the artists and the symbols. You can access all 12 playlists here, and I am now also almost done creating these accompanying videos for each one. So you can check out the Scorpio video here, and stay tuned for Capricorn next month. The full videos and write-ups for each of these are available to patrons, and shorter forms are going out on social media. Thank you, as always, to my patrons for sustaining the cultural work that I'm doing, both with my band, Adam Gottlieb and One Love, as well as fun stuff like this. And if you are not yet a patron and you'd like to support the work that I do of producing inspiring content that integrates music, poetry, spirituality, and revolutionary vision for a world beyond capitalism and oppression, I hope you will consider becoming my patron, at least as long as we still live under capitalism. You'll gain access to loads of music, poetry, and other content that I've been creating for the last several years and am constantly producing. In any case, I hope both these playlists and these videos will help you appreciate the richness of the zodiac in ways that serve your personal evolution and spiritual growth. It's been a profound and super fun project for me, and I'd love to hear your reactions, ideas, and suggestions, etc. So please leave me a comment with any thoughts or feedback you may have, and thank you, as always, for watching, following, and supporting. Now let's launch into Sagittarius. Diving into the depths and shadows of the unconscious during Scorpio season, facing the implications of our mortality, this has launched the soul into an epic quest for meaning, a driven search for truth, an existential thirst for freedom. We are now heading into the darkest and most difficult part of the year, and there is no time for fear, hesitation, or falsehood. We must move toward our aims. We must make the most of the time and resources we have. The intensity of the season clarifies our true priorities, and even as the light is quickly growing dimmer, there is a growing sense of excitement as we get more in touch with our inner light, the fire that never dies. Sagittarius season is like a drum roll for the coming solstice, building anticipation and enthusiasm for the light's return, writes Aeolian Heart. The promise of the sun's rebirth fills the air with a feeling of celebration. Even if we are busy hunkering down for winter, which seems motivated by a sense of survival and safety rather than adventure-seeking, this still raises an existential question that keeps our souls restless. Why, after all, are we putting all this energy into survival? To what end? What is the purpose of it all? Sometimes, thinking such thoughts, we may have moments when we feel like we can see our whole lives behind us and ahead of us, the way an arrow would see the whole landscape over which it flies if it had eyes. What are we flying toward? Stephen Forrest, writing about Sagittarius, focuses on the symbol as, quote, not the archer but the arrow, end quote, and invites us to contemplate along these lines. It flies faster than sight. If that arrow were suddenly given a mind, what thoughts would occupy it? Who fired me into this luminous sky, and for what purpose? What is my place here? Where am I going? What is the reason for my existence? I think Sagittarius is one of the hardest signs to understand, and can be one of the more confusing ones to read about in astrology texts. It's described at times as both simple and subtle, focused and meandering. As always, I find it helpful to consider it in relation to its opposite sign, in this case, Gemini. Both signs on this axis are ultimately searching for truth by gathering experience and information from outside themselves. But they embody opposite approaches. Whereas Gemini corresponds to the intellectual, cool, airy kind of search, the path of the journalist, the researcher, the social butterfly, Sagittarius represents the spiritual, ecstatic, fiery kind of seeker, the acolyte, the artist, the nomad, whereas Gemini is always turning things over to see from at least two perspectives at once. Sagittarius is only ever focused in one direction, like an arrow, even if that arrow is wavering or meandering. Sagittarius is a burning fire in motion, like a flaming arrow or a shooting star. Its passion makes it a light of inspiration to others, especially in times of darkness and doubt. If Scorpio season represents a brush with death, and even perhaps bringing us to the point of considering death as a real possible choice, Sagittarius represents a renewed sense of purpose in life, choosing consciously to live. That is a profound threshold to cross. That choice is the energy that launches the arrow into motion, and Sagittarians are famous for living their lives with that kind of passion. Sagittarius craves the freedom to live life on its own terms, is not afraid to form its own path, and seeks integrity over fame and fortune. So in the struggle for justice, life, freedom, and humanity, they can be a prophetic messenger and a passionately loyal comrade. The great freedom fighter Ella Baker comes to mind as a paradigm of Sagittarius as a bold yet humble organizer, teacher, and visionary. My own dearest political mentor, Lou Rosenbaum, is a Sagittarian who has never stopped growing or glowing. His commitment to truth has fueled him through decades of work, thinking and rethinking through theoretical principles in light of new real-world experiences. Equal parts poet and scientist, Lou embodies the true revolutionary spirit of Sagittarius. As with all the signs, the shadow of Sagittarius is cast in the shape of its strengths. The immature Sagittarian can be cavalier, prone to overenthusiasm and zeal, flighty and impulsive, which can lead to burnout, betrayal, and other disasters. This is an upbeat philosophical playlist to listen to in your car, on the treadmill, on your morning walk, cleaning your apartment, or perhaps when you are physically still but journeying through the landscapes of the soul. And whether or not you are paying attention to the astral transits, it will serve as a soundtrack for you as you integrate the lessons of Sagittarius season. As with all the playlists, it will take you on an adventure through the struggles, lessons, and breakthroughs represented by this part of the zodiac. It's ideal to listen to the whole playlist in order, but it's also good for shuffle play. And it features plenty of songs by prominent artists who are native to this sun sign, which was not difficult to do. The archer is bold, she leaves her mark. May these songs help you break free of limitations within and without, and follow your spirit's instincts as you fly toward your destiny. Rock on. One liberating love. Peace.